Okay, today was UFC 146, Anderson Silva versus Nick Diaz, and fight going in, you knew that Silva was coming back from an injury. I remember watching that fight against Chris Weidman, as Conan likes to say, and you're kind of seeing, hey, does he still have what it takes? He was off for, I think it was 8 months. It's been a long time, but Nick Diaz, he was out for supposedly 2 years in a fight against George St. Pierre. And coming back, the hype was there. Everyone's looking forward to it. It was obviously a big fight field. John Jones and who did he face? Whoever he faced in the last fight. It was 3 weeks, about 3 weeks ago. So UFC having a huge January when you really look at it. But round by round, round one was very entertaining. Definitely my favorite round of the whole fight. Nick Diaz just coming out of the box, just like pro wrestler mode he was. You have the play SmackDown vs. Raw, and you're just pressing the taunt button time after time, just trying to screw with the guy you're facing, and that's what he was doing. Kept on taunting him to the point where he laid down. He would go against the cage, stick his chin out, put his hand, get his guard down, and trying to get in the guy's head. And obviously it didn't work out that well, but you would think he did have a couple good shots in the first round, and um, at the end of the day, I think the first round still went to Silva, but Nick Diaz really put on a show. I think more than anything in this fight, instead of try winning, I think he was more about just entertaining himself and entertaining the people, and I think that was his game plan, is to kind of get inside Silva's head and find that little opening and just kind of finish him off. But obviously that didn't happen, and a lot of left leg kicks by Nick Diaz, and I think that was the story of the whole fight, where Silva wouldn't even do anything. He would just keep on letting him hit him in the leg time after time with the left kick. And the last 45 seconds is really when the fight started picking up, where the two guys just start boxing with each other in the middle of the octagon. And but yeah, first round definitely went to Silva, even though Nick Diaz just put on a show for everybody. And then round two, same thing. It was Diaz just kicking the leg, and Silva's looking for a huge elbow shot, and he did catch him right in the left eye, and I think that's probably what busted him open. It was around this time. It was around two or round three, but I think round three is really when you start seeing that it was a trouble for him, because the blood really started to swell up and the bruising and everything. But round three, yeah, that was pretty much still round two. Diaz is trying to taunt, but Silva's not buying any of it. And but then round three, Silva just came out of the gate and he just dominated. Pretty much from round three on, it was just Silva dominating everything. He did not take any more of like Diaz's games. He There was one point in the third round where he threw this huge roundhouse kick, and you knew if he hit that kick, it would have just slapped him and just on the ground. Just the velocity of watching it from home, and as soon as he missed it, I'm like, man, if he would have hit that, it would have been lights out for Mr. Diaz. And what else? But yeah, pretty much he just hit him everywhere. Like, I have no notes about Nick Diaz doing anything in that fight besides getting his ass handed to him. So just shows that just the beating that he took, and then the eyes start getting worse really from round three on to round four and five. And but that's pretty much round four to round five. I'll just do it all right now. There was no chance for Diaz, and I think he knew at this point. So there came the time where he's still trying to toy with them a little bit, and I guess he kind of knew it was over, but he's still trying to put on a show for everyone else. And you know, there could have been, I think, if the Joe Rogan and whoever were saying that if he really wants to win this fight, he's got to do more than just play games. He's got to advance onto him. He's got to put on the offense. And it seemed like for a lot of the fight, he was on defense, and can't be on defense. I know he was trying to find that opening where it's like Silva would go for a punch and he'd do a counter and just hit him with an uppercut and just kind of open things up for a bit. But Silva was like very disciplined when it came to picking his shots, picking when and where to hit him. And it just shows that, after so many months of not fighting, he still goes in there. He's a professional. He goes in there to win. He's not the Anderson Silva that kind of does what Nick Diaz was doing. He went in there all business. He came out the victor, and just like especially the 5th round, you knew that it was like, man, Silva was just, you saw a little bit of the old Anderson Silva towards the last minute of the fight when he knew that he had it and there was no comeback even necessary. And even round 4, the end of round 4 and all of round 5, Nick Diaz was throwing these punches where it was just like he was half asleep. He had no idea what he was doing. He was throwing kicks, and it literally took him about 5 seconds to go all around in a big circle just to throw a roundhouse kick. But he knew at a certain point when he gave up, and I think it was probably round 3. I think by round 3 he knew that if he hadn't put Anderson Silva away by now, there was probably no chance. But Silva looked perfect. Not a cut on his face. He fought a very smart fight, and I think a lot of people were expecting Nick Diaz to lose badly, maybe possibly by a knockout. I think it was a one-sided fight for sure, but I think a lot of people were expecting a knockout. But they did go the distance, and two very tough fighters. And Anderson Silva, obviously just full of the emotion. As soon as he got announced, he just fell on the ground and started crying, which just shows that this is what he loves to do. You can see the passion. He's not in there just for a paycheck or because, this or that. It's when a guy loves to do something, just that emotion. You can see that emotion, and you saw it as he walked down to the octagon when he first stepped in there, and he just got the reception and the ending when he was announced the victor, and then the interview afterwards. It's cool. And he climbed over the cage to give Mr. Johnny Bones Jones a nice big old hug, which is cool. So that is my full fight analysis. It was a good fight. I enjoyed watching it. I think UFC main events, they know how to build up a fight. They know how to make something seem special. And just the anticipation of the ring entrances, and then Bruce Buffer just calling the announcements at the beginning really gets you amped up just to see two guys just brawl at each other. So that's it, and I'll see you guys in the next video.